I'm going to demonstrate how to saute an eggplant. My eggplant has already been cleaned, salted, and peeled. Here it is right here. And I'll just explain sauteing right now. So sauteing is a form of dry heat cooking that uses a very hot pan and a small amount of fat to cook the food very quickly. Like other dry heat cooking methods, sauteing browns the food surface as it cooks and develops complex flavors and aromas. When sauteing, it's important to heat the pan for a minute and then add a small amount of fat and let the fat get hot as well before you add the food to the pan. The hot fat helps to brown the surface of the food. Another key is to avoid overloading or overcrowding the pan. It's really important to have the food have enough space to move around. Some of the equipment that I'll be using today when sauteing my eggplant is going to be a frying pan, or you can also use a sauteing pan or a skillet. Today I'm going to show you how to saute eggplant using a wok. Here's my wok. I generally like to use a non-stick frying pan because then you'll be able to use less fat or oil compared to a regular pan as well. But I unfortunately do not have a non-stick pan, so this is what I'm going to work with. You'll also need to have a spatula or a wooden spoon, which should be used to stir the eggplant around in the frying pan or the wok while you're cooking it. I'll be cooking my eggplant on a hot plate today. The ingredients that I'll use today is 1 large eggplant that I cut into the smaller pieces and around 1 to 2 tablespoons Spanish olive oil as well here. You can also use other types of oils or butter as well. Before we get started, you must make sure that you wash your hands. I've already done so, and that you use fresh foods when you're cooking. When purchasing an eggplant, try to use the freshest possible, as you are worried sometimes about maybe food safety or food contamination or molding on an older vegetable as well. And position the handle of the wok as well on the hot plate, not to be towards the outside. If you have it out to the outside, perhaps you might bump into it and therefore causing the pan to spill over and the hot food burning you. Also, if you have the handle faced to the outside, you'll have to reach over the pan, therefore potentially burning your arm. Today I will show the safe procedure to have the handle out to the side of the pan as well. Make sure that you have your hair pulled back and that you are not wearing any loose clothing, as it may come in contact with my hot plate or hot pan. I'm just going to put my hair up right now. You want to turn on the stove top to medium-high heat and melt the olive oil just enough to smother the bottom of the pan, and then add the eggplant. So let's do that now. Turn on my hot plate. And I'll just pour in some of my olive oil. So I'm just going to estimate around 1 to 2 tablespoons as well. This looks like about enough. And then you want to stir the oil around the pan to thoroughly coat the bottom so that none of the food will be without oil. Then just wait a minute or 2 until the oil heats up before you add the eggplant. You can start to see that some of the oil is starting to heat up quite a bit. It's starting to steam off and it seems quite warm. You want to heat the pan to probably a medium to high heat as well. Not too hot, otherwise the oil may burn, and not too low, otherwise it will not be hot enough to saute the food as well. And I think it's hot enough right now, so now I'm going to put in my eggplant. And you can start to hear the sizzling. That's a great sound you want to hear. As soon as you put the eggplant in, you want to quickly just start to disperse it around. And you can start to see that perhaps I didn't put in enough oil. So now it's been about, I'd say 7 minutes in total, and my eggplant is now nicely starting to brown as well. And you can see that it has reached its desired amount as well. The difference between pan frying and sauteing is that pan frying is a lot like sauteing, but with a little different differences. Besides the fact that there is no tossing, pan frying uses slightly more fat and slightly lower temperatures than sauteing. This makes it a good method for cooking larger pieces of meat that would not have time to cook through because of sauteing. The food isn't in the pan very long. So you can see that the most important is that my eggplant is nice and brown and ready to be eaten. It has got this really nice soft texture to it, and none of that creamy whiteness is left. It's just this nice browny color. So you can start to see that here is my eggplant. It's all ready. I'll turn off my temperature, and you can use eggplant as a main dish, a side dish, or just as a snack. Thank you, and have a great day.